All right, this is Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer. Mercer is the Viper who turned back upon Cobra and became a G.I. Joe renegade. He's also featured in the current Skybound G.I. Joe comics. He works for Destro mostly. He's not exactly just a Viper, he's more like a lieutenant for Destro and Cobra in that series. So it's interesting to see if he's gonna be reused later, if there's gonna be an action figure of him later that portrays him more like he's in the comics right now. But he was introduced way back in the G.I. Joe movie in 1987. Now the Sergeant Slaughter here is what you would call a hostage package, a 2-pack. We wanted Mercer, we didn't want another Sergeant Slaughter, and this one is a bit flimsy. I've got a problem with the hips here, and they tend to fall over easily. I don't know if I should call Hasbro and have them replace the figure. I don't want to send the entire package. Mercer is just fine, but Sergeant Slaughter will break, the hips will break eventually. I can already tell he's not very solid for that. This is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, figuring since 2002. Like and subscribe. Alright, this is Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer. So I did fix the hip. I had to press it a bit more and inside the socket. So now it does fit in more and it's tighter and it doesn't feel like it's gonna break, and thus the figure doesn't fall over all the time. Although the joints of the ankles are very weak still. One thing I will do with the Sergeant, because I don't like having the same figure twice, is I'm gonna remove this head and I'm gonna replace with the extra slice and dice head that you see here. It fits in just okay, not perfectly, and it is a smaller head than the Sergeant, and the skin tone is a bit darker, but that's okay. It's like there's more color in his face. It's a much more larger face, and I put a beret, and I've got Quinn. If you remember Quinn, Quinn is the Inuit character in the G.I. Joe comic. He doesn't have a figure yet, and I think this guy looks like a perfect Quinn here. Kind of Asian feature in his face here, and he's a badass soldier, so I've got a new Quinn. Now the articulation on this guy are extremely stiff. They're not good at all. They're very stiff, but Sergeant Slaughter has become Quinn. These are the two Sergeant Slaughter heads, one with a whistle and another one. This is the extra Mercer head. I'm gonna put this one on some of my G.I. Joe Legacy troopers, or I could probably put it on some of the green shirts here. There's nothing to say about Mercer, just a good figure. The articulation are not as stiff, and obviously Mercer reuses some of the butt from the Viper. The legs and hips are from the Viper. I'm not sure about the arms, maybe, which is why Mercer is such a smaller character here versus in the G.I. Joe Skybound comic, where he's a bit bigger and also works for Destro instead of being just a Viper. I prefer having the Sergeant as a Quinn. Quinn was featured heavily in the first issues of the G.I. Joe comic. I believe he's had a few figures here and there, but not many. He's probably lesser known, but he's the kind of character that you may want to have in a G.I. Joe classified collection. Eventually they'll get to him, I'm pretty sure. We'll see Quinn probably in winter gear and in jungle gear eventually. This is what I had to say there. I'm not specific. There's nothing to say about those figures. I don't even know whose backpack that is, but that's okay. I should probably talk about the weapons a bit. Grenade launcher. They're a bit stiffer than other figures. Here, the ammo. There's a silencer on this guy, and there is one here also. These are the different hands, fist, palm, other fist. So you could use them with Mercer or the Sergeant. Bigger fist here. Marine hat, another submachine gun, and a baton, just like the first Sergeant Slaughter. Now the glasses, these go with Mercer. They're good, they're fine. And these go with the Sergeant. They're kind of crooked, but they don't look so bad. He feels kind of Top Gun-ish. I don't know whose backpack this is. Wish I could do. So these are figures, including the Sergeant Slaughter's hat. So this is the Quinn and the Quinn. The Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer 2-pack. This is Hervé from Comic Book Bin. Filigrane since 2002. Like and subscribe.